Let's get it. This is Life's Essential Ingredients with Jeff and a Mike, where we hope to inform, inspire, and transform lives, one essential ingredient at a time. Welcome to the show. Oh, yes. Welcome to another episode of Life's Essential Ingredients. Pashito, good morning to you. You looking good, pretty? You are up in San Francisco today or no?
Yeah, I decided to walk on up here for the day and hang out outside by the beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, I'm here.
Nice, nice. Well, good seeing you. Good morning, and good morning to our guest today, Melissa Tucci, down in San Diego. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, great, great. So excited to have you on our show. And every episode is just a great opportunity for me to spend some time with my best friend, and then also to get to meet a new friend and research them and hear about their expertise and their life's essential ingredients. And we are in for a treat because we are in the presence of greatness. And I hope the listeners will take out a notepad because there's going to be a lot to learn. With that, I would love to introduce our guest. Her name is Melissa Tucci. You can find her at melissatucci.com. She is the real estate broker. And I'm going to say that again. The real estate broker. Again, she hails out of San Diego, and a little bit about her background. She had her first job at the age of 10, somewhere close to Chicago, maybe in Chicago, but selling some Chicago style dogs. And hopefully we'll be able to jump into that a little bit. Went on to graduate from IU, that is Indiana University, got her degree in journalism and psychology, learned the value of persistence shortly thereafter by cold calling, and we'll get into that and how you have to be mentally sharp to deal with that. I have some experience with that as well, in selling ad space for the Yellow Pages. Shortly thereafter, she decided to move to California and get into real estate and settled in the San Diego area. And roughly since 2001, she's been doing that. She worked for Century 21 from 01 to 2016. 2016 to the present time, works for Coldwell Banker. And hold on for a little bit right now while you wrap your head around some of these statistics. And again, if you have time, please go to her website, melissatucci.com. She just can go on and on with all the great things that she has done with her career. She is the number one agent for Coldwell Banker 2016, 17, 18, 19. They probably haven't even come out yet and crunched the numbers for 20, but I'm sure she'll be there because she is the number one agent nationwide. And I'll say that again because that is just crazy. Number one agent nationwide, official agent for the San Diego Padres, 5-star winner for San Diego Magazine, 10 years in a row, my Pasho, for customer service. We're not talking 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in the presence of greatness. 10 years in a row. She has over $1 billion in property value sold. She's frequently requested to appear on the TV show The American Dream to share her expertise. She believes in suiting up for each and every day to set the tone for respecting the work that she does, but more importantly, for showing respect to her clients. I want to give a little bit of perspective. Again, the Association of Real Estate Licensed Law Officials, that's the guru, estimates there's 2 million active real estate licensees in the U.S. And she's number one out of all of them. Pasho, did I tell you we are in the presence of greatness? The average broker, and Melissa, you'll have to clarify this for me, but the average broker sells about 4 homes per year. And I saw another number anywhere between 4 and 12. So let's just err on the 12. Just in 2018 alone, Melissa sold over 120 million in property/home values. Needless to say, Melissa Tucci, in her own words, will run the extra mile for you. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Wow. That was impressive. I feel like just completely humbled here by all your your great accolades you gave for me. So thanks for the remarkable introduction. I don't think I've ever had it quite like that. So bravo to you. My goodness.
Um, well, no, and this is going to sound corny, and it's funny. Mike's wife, I was just asking her, "Hey, what can we do better? Because we're new at this." And she said, "Well, don't get so serious and have fun and everything." But I was like, "Well, I don't know if that's going to happen exactly in this episode, because in reading and researching you, and I've said it already 10 times, we were in the presence of greatness. But I'm going to use persistent. I'm going to use consistent. To do what you do is not easy." And this is going to come up a whole bunch. It's one of those things, I think, watching a great athlete, they just are so graceful and they make their craft look easy. Let me go do that, until you lace them up and try and go do it. And then you realize, oh, wait a second. No. There's way more that goes into this. And with that, I want to get into the thought of the day, because then I want to get you talking and sharing, and then I'm going to kind of be quiet. You got to bear with me again for this thought of the day, because it's going to be a little bit of a long one. It's a stretch, and this could make or break the show. And we always start out with this thought of the day on life's essential ingredients. And again, we thank the listeners tuning in from all over the world. Russia, Japan, the UK, all over the place, Spain, all throughout the United States. We thank you for tuning in. And again, you're in for a treat. But our guest is amazing. She is a huge baseball fan. And so I wanted to get something that would mean something to her. And so this comes from Sandy Koufax, who was an amazing pitcher. And Sandy was a great pitcher in the 50s and 60s for the Brooklyn and then the LA Dodgers. And like Melissa, Sandy is obviously one of baseball's greats. Was a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 3-time World Series champion, youngest player inducted to the Hall of Fame. In 1955 is when he started his career, and he was 2-2. And he made $6,000 a year at that time. Again, this back in 55. 56, he was 2-4. 1957, 5-4. 58, 11-11. Then 8-6. Then 8-13. 61, he was 18-13. In 1962, 14-7. 63, 25-5. Continued to get better till his last season, which was 1966, when he was 27-9. Here's our thought of the day. Again, this is from Sandy Koufax. I became a good pitcher when I stopped trying to make them miss the ball and started trying to make them hit it. Melissa, no pressure. Does that mean anything to you?
That just actually gave me goosebumps. I don't know. That was pretty deep. Yes. So I think for me, or just in general, people try so hard, especially in real estate, just to, get the sale, get the commissions, just keep going, keep trying to, constantly make things happen. And I think that you have to not constantly be striving towards, just that one thing to make. I think so many agents, when they start out, it's all about, I want to make a lot of money. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I think that's great, but that's not the big picture. The big picture is helping people, doing things to not just get to the next day or to the next item, but overall, the grand scheme, the bigger picture. And, that quote just reminded me of, I think so many people focus on, oh my gosh, what am I going to do right now to make this happen and make all of this work and, get this closed and meet these people. And it's like, you have to do things as a whole and look out for, a long-term success versus short-term. And, to get back to your question, the average real estate in California sells 5 homes a year. And there's 27,000 agents in California, in San Diego County, actually. And it's just, it's amazing how many people just want that kind of, get into it, make this huge career out of it. And so many people, unfortunately, are not successful because they're focusing too much on the wrong things. And I think if you focus on the right things and you focus long term and you do things for the better good for everyone and not just focus on, these small little steps, that'll get you to a grand scheme and a bigger scale. And that's pretty much what that quote, meant to me, is that I just think you can't just focus on an end number. You have to focus on actually making it all work. And there's so many obviously facets to that with real estate and what I do. But that's just what came to mind.
I love it. Well, no, and you, man, knocked it out the park, or got the ball in play, if you're the pitcher. But yeah, because I'm just going to go back, and I don't want to repeat myself so much, but it's about the process. And again, in researching you, I just kept seeing that over and over and over again, and seeing persistence and seeing dedication and seeing sacrifice of what you do. And again, it's probably going to look glamorous. Again, you go to her website, melissatucci.com. She has all these accolades, all these awards that she's won. She's got so many things below her name. It's ridiculous, because she wants, and don't take this the wrong way, Melissa, she wants everybody to know that she's the best, and the best by putting in the best work. And the most dedication. And again, back to that one award of 10 years in a row for customer service. That's ridiculous when you think about this day and age where it's 24/7 people are on, and knowing that you have your cell phone out there and people need to be able to get in touch with you. I really take my hat off to you for everything that you've done with your life to achieve what you've achieved, because I know it has not been easy.
Thank you.
Yes. Now with that, I want to get into how the heck did you do it? And did it start with a hot dog by any chance? Tell us about that and selling them dogs. And I'm real curious to hear that story a little bit.
Sure. As I mentioned earlier to you, I'm originally from Chicago, and my first real job was at a hot dog stand. Before that, I actually worked like babysitting, and I worked at a painting shop just on the side. I always wanted to work. I always wanted to make my own money. I always wanted the satisfaction of doing things and having completion, and just kind of always just being my own boss. And it started at a really young age, and I just always had this work ethic in me. I don't know where it came from. Of course, I grew up in a good family, and everyone, was very oriented around, success, but not to the level that I think I've been, focused on with, taking it to, a much higher extreme. But no, I started out, and again, customer service, dealing with people, making them food. And then from there, I had waitress jobs, even through college. I always was in a customer service oriented industry, dealing with people, making people happy, making people satisfied, working hard, working long hours, multitasking. The more, I always say, the more you do, the more you get done. Because a lot of times it's like, oh my gosh, how much could you fit in one day? How much could you do? But I find that the more busy you are, the more accomplished you are. People who really just have, only a couple things here and there to do, they typically just don't get as much done, whether that's, scheduling or organizing. But, once I graduated college, I ended up getting my first job at an advertising agency. Then from there, I sold Yellow Page advertising, which I will say was, if you could sell Yellow Page advertising, I really feel like you could do anything. That was a really tough sale. You had so many no's, so many people that just wouldn't even talk to you. I did a lot of cold calling, both in person and on the phone. I was very successful on the phone. I won a lot of awards at my Yellow Page advertising career, and I really, really enjoyed it. Of course, Yellow Pages these days is not what it was then. People now are like, what do you mean? There's a book and you look up numbers? I just look on my phone. I'm like, no, it's just, that's what it was, which was just so crazy. So it's come a long way. I just got to the point with my Yellow Page career that I wanted something, to take me to the next level. And then actually from there, I started working at a credit card and check fraud company, which was affiliated with Equifax and Telecheck, and same thing. If you could sell that, I really feel like you could sell anything. So I ended up getting my real estate license just because I was working so hard and did so much, but yet felt that I was at the cap of what I could achieve, with these companies, and would really wanted to get to the next level. And so when I got my real estate license, I started out working open houses, but really my biggest break was actually right away. I called expired listings. So I called people who had their home listed. It didn't sell. And the owner, probably still wanted to sell. Sometimes they don't. But long story short, it was 7 a.m. I was calling, because they get bombarded with other agents calling. I got the appointment. I ended up getting in front of the seller, was in a 4-hour appointment with them, got my first listing. Other agents were knocking at the door like, oh, we had an appointment. They're like, oh, I think we found our real estate agent. And then from there, I had 5 buyers, out of that particular listing, and it just kind of spiraled. And it was pretty incredible because it just was like, it was meant to be for me. I honestly feel like it was my calling. And I just haven't looked back, and I just each year have sold more and more, gotten to know more and more people, more clients, more referrals. Important thing is to keep up with the technology. Real estate has changed so much over the years, especially through social media, technology, internet marketing, high-end photography, 3D walkthroughs, drone footage. I mean, you really have to be with the times, just because so many people now are so much more internet savvy, just the average buyer and seller as well. So you really have to adapt and be a chameleon to the environment. And then also for your clients, that's where I always joke, my psychology degree has come in handy, just because you're dealing with so many people, so many personalities, so many different professions, backgrounds. And this is, the biggest sale or purchase of their life. And that's why, each one has to be taken seriously. And, and I don't feel real estate as a job. I feel like it's not only a career, it's like a way of life. Like I'm absorbed and consumed in it, which it could be for some people a positive and negative. But it's just who I am. I mean, I am a real estate broker. I got my broker's license after having my real estate agent's license back in 2005. So I've been a broker for a long time as well. And, that's the highest level that you could be in this industry. And I feel like, just having professionalism at the highest level has also just been very important for me personally, just because, a lot of times you meet people and you don't know who the agent is, the client is. And that's why I feel dress professionally, act professionally. I'm very, friendly with my clients, but I am very professional, and I always keep it that way. And I think it's very, very important. So I know that was a lot in one whole explanation, but I could go on and on.
All right. Well, I know Mike has you piqued his interest, so he's got some comments for you.
Yeah, sorry, I would have jumped in sooner, but my neighbor decided to use a jackhammer today. He's doing something. But first of all, for the thought of the day, this goes to my Pasho. He is a Giants baseball fan, and you are not allowed to use anything from the Dodgers organization, sir. Never again. And Melissa, with the Yellow Pages, what is that again? I'm kidding. I'm old enough. I remember that. But you mentioned something that really piqued my interest, that you mentioned that kind of being a real estate is like a way of life. And you're dealing with a lot of different people, a lot of personalities, a lot of things going on at the same time. And with the numbers that you have, you're dealing with multiple clients all at the same time, probably all on the same day. how does that, dealing with people, how does that relate to your everyday life, your personal life? Do you ever get out of that mode? Do you switch gears when you're not working?
That's an interesting question, and I get that a lot. I am married. I have three daughters. My kids have always known me to be this way, so it's kind of expected, and I don't turn it off. And again, I'm not saying that's a good. That's just what it is for me personally. But of course, I still, I've always believed in quality, not quantity. I've always feel like I've been a great parent, provided for my family, and but I will say, I when my oldest daughter went to college, she wrote me a beautiful letter and basically said if she could be half the woman that I am, she would know she was successful in life. And every time I think about that, it just gives me chills because I I don't always, I do separate it, but if I'm, of course, at dinner with my family, I'm not on my phone, but I have it in my lap and I do check my text messages. And, it's just for me, that gives me peace. I don't like not getting back to someone the same day or not responding right away. So again, it's not for everyone. And some people will say, after 6 p.m., I will return calls the next business day. I'm like, in my opinion, you're in the wrong business then. I mean, that's just not what you could do as a real estate professional. So I like to say I am not as active on Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, and that's about it.
And Melissa, again, this is life's essential ingredients. And this is going to sound really corny, but in researching the guests, and I'm a nurse is what I do. And I've been surrounded by death and spent 12 years working in the trauma ICU at UC Davis Medical Center, which is a level 1 trauma center. So I really value each day. And in researching you, I was like, man, what does Melissa do outside, and does she have time? And then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Melissa is doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing. And she is sharing her gift. And I sure hope we don't, and nobody else ever plants a seed of like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and you should turn off everything. That's not good for anybody. I have so much respect for you. And I put you in the same class as Tom Brady, who is just so dedicated to his craft and taking advantage of the gift that God has given him and doing something that he's got no business doing because he dedicates his life, and his family knows that's exactly who he is. And I'm so excited. You gave me goosebumps when you told me about what your daughter told you, because they are watching all the time. And yeah, you might be busy, but you're showing them so many things that are essential for life, that are just going to be passed on and will be part of their DNA coming from you. And so I thank you so much for being an amazing role model and doing all that you do. And again, sorry to sound goofy, but don't ever even get it twisted that, I should not be. No, you do you. And you're doing amazing. And with that, I want to share one other quote, because I had a hard time picking up one. And I think you're going to like this one. It's from the great Pele, the amazing soccer player. And my Pasho loves him some soccer. And he says, success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing. And when you love something, you want to keep doing it. Just like you do. And so again, I thank you so much for all that you do. I do have a question though. What keeps you hungry? Because you are number one, you're the best at what you do. I know that you want to stay up at the top, but when you're getting up in the morning, what is it that is going to get you up out of bed and let's go?
You know what? It's so funny because it's not one particular thing. It's just like I just am ready to face the day. I'm ready for new challenges. I'm ready to meet new people. I'm ready to accomplish new things. And, just, having an escrow close or having someone's offer get accepted, like that is just so exciting. And it's not monetary driven. It's more of just an achievement and seeing other people's happiness. And that's really what drives me. And I think if people lose of that they end up, kind of tripping over themselves because it's not about the money. And I think so many people really always focus on that. Like, I don't even know my numbers until the end of the year as far as what I've sold. Most of the time I get statistics or other agents that tell me, because I just do what I do. Just like you said, like, I just want to be the best I could be. I want to make a difference in people's lives. And I know that sounds incredibly corny, but it's true. I want to be remembered for, wow, she really helped my dream come true, or she made it happen for me. If it wasn't for Melissa, there's no way this could have happened. And that's what drives me. That's what makes me going each day.
I love it. Do you have any particular story that really jumps out at you? Because Mike remembers his first house. I remember my first house or this current house, and you are playing such a vital role in helping a family or an individual take that step in their life to achieve the American dream. Is there any story in all the thousands of houses that you've sold that like really is, oh man, that one just, my heart just starts beating a little faster every time I think about it?
I would say, gosh, there's so many different ones, but this one was probably maybe 15 years ago. It was a lady that is single mom. She had a few kids, and her dream was to buy a place. And this wasn't, a huge transaction by any means, but it was something. And again, being not monetary driven, I help people with all price ranges, all areas of San Diego. And long story short, I was able to get her involved with some down payment assistance through the city of San Diego. And her lender got involved with it as well. And at that time, the mayor actually was involved with some of the down payment assistance. So when we closed escrow, we had a total news crew from, I want to say Channel 10, the mayor at the property, the lender, myself, and a couple other councilmen and women, and just handing her her keys, talking about the pride of home ownership. And she just was like bawling. And it was just, she was giving me a hug, and she's like, you made my dream. Like, my whole family has never purchased anything. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be standing here, and I'll never be able to repay you. And it was just like, oh my God, every time I think about it, I just, it seems like it was just yesterday. And it was such a beautiful story, because not only about her having her first home, and just because she was a single mom and worked so hard and had 3 young kids, but then, it got promoted and she was on the news, and the mayor gave her, a hug and handed her the key. And it was like out of a movie. I would have had no idea that it would have gone to that extent. But it was really special, and I'll always remember it.
Yeah, that is an amazing story. And you are helping people make their dreams come true. So you're a big part of their lives. And I got a question. When you meet someone and you're going to play such an important role in their lives, what do you think is like the most important quality about you that they should know about?
I think it's communication, and the fact that I have their interest at heart, and their my number one interest as far as what is good for them, not anyone else, but what's in their best interest. I think it's really important in this day and age, just because obviously we have text, we have email, we have social media, phone calls. I always want to, make sure what's their best form of communication, and to them to know that I am only looking out for their best interest, and I will do everything possible to make anything, that they want happen and work around their schedule. And I think that's what's really important. A lot of people will meet someone and then sometimes not deal with them ever again, or they have a big team. And that's not what you get with me. You deal directly with me. I do have an assistant that does help, with different various tasks. I sell over 150 homes a year, so sometimes I can't be everywhere at the same time. But all of my clients always say that they feel like they're my only client because of the amount of dedication and attention I give to them.
Yeah, that's crazy. 150. I'm still wrapping my head around these numbers when you hear about, average agent selling, 4 homes, 150, just the amount of paperwork. And again, Mike's actually into real estate as well on the appraisal side and property tax side, and I'm sure he'll share a little bit of that with you. But me not knowing a whole bunch about it, but having bought a few homes and just all the paperwork that goes in and all the steps that go in to that, and then hearing that you're doing that 150 times, that's almost every other day, which is crazy. So my question is, what do you do to keep yourself fresh and balanced and energized, and kind of what's your routine for being able to do what you do?
So, I'm an avid runner, and I do that every morning, just because that's my time to decompress and just kind of have my moment to myself as well. So that's something that's really important to me. I started running since I was 12 years old, so it's one of those things. Again, consistency. Try to do it every day. And so that's really something important. As far as just it's all about time management and getting people, according to their schedule as well. So I don't have a hard stop at the end of the day at a specific time. A lot of times by the time I get home or have dinner, I still end up having, most of the time call clients after, through the evening. I've been on, negotiating calls at midnight before, and and again, it's because I actually realized over the years when people, especially my mother was like, why don't you stop working and this and that? I'm like, but I enjoy it. And so for me, it's actually relaxing to continue working and to continue responding to people. And, when people are like, oh, if it's too late, I could call you in the morning. I'm like, no, it's not too late, because that way I could get that accomplished, that task. And then I have more time for then something else, versus, putting it off to the next day. And that's what I would say. I am not a procrastinator. I like getting things done right away. And that way it just continues to make, more time to get additional things that pop up. Because in this industry, you might not have a busy day when you first get up, and then all of a sudden a couple hours later, you're like boom, boom, boom on, appointments and timelines. So it's just a matter of, just really being good and efficient. And I've really, tried to hone in on that skill over the years.
Man, definitely amazing. Again, all that you do. And I know you have a team, and I know you have your 3 beautiful girls, but your husband's got to be pretty amazing as well. Let's give him some love. And what is it that you love about him? Because obviously you guys have a beautiful relationship with balance and people understanding their roles. And I know he's in construction, I believe. And so you guys, and congratulations again on researching you. I think in 2019, I don't know if you broke ground or it was completed, but your office, 29,000 square foot kind of structure, and then your office was on the top floor and some townhomes and everything else, and you guys did that project together. But before I get going on that, what do you love about your husband?
I love that you asked me that, because he always tells me, he's like, you're successful because you have me as your husband. And it's just so funny. But no, he is a very caring and giving person. And we are a team. It's not just give, take. It's, working together and understanding, and, really having, our relationship is 50-50. It's, we always talk about, if it gets over 70-30 or 60-40 for some people, it doesn't work. And so, we respect each other a lot. He is very understanding of me having to work, a lot, be on calls with people, and it doesn't bother him, because some people it would bother. So I am very fortunate that he is understanding. He's actually a builder. And so, by default, I know a lot about the whole building industry, which has helped my career as well over the years. And, he's a great father. He helps in all aspects of parenting, and, we're each other's equals. And I think it's very important, to have that in order to have a successful relationship, and to, respect and understand each other. So I am very fortunate that he is so understanding, and, really works with me, because it's not easy for people. I mean, I am a busy person, and it's pretty amazing, that we've been able to be together for so long, and understand, each other, and have such a great partnership. So yeah, thank you for asking that. He would appreciate that very much.
That's our one of our kind of things that we're trying to get accomplished with the show. We want the guests to just feel like, oh man, that was the best hour of my life for coming on here, and letting them kind of process life. And again, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your gift of dedication, passion, purpose for helping people achieve their dream. And again, that's what you do. And it's so amazing that you've been able to achieve what you have. And I want to jump quickly back into words you used to describe your husband, of caring and giving. And I know where you are, where the homes are very expensive. I don't know how much money you make, but you're making a grip for sure. But you give back to a lot because you care and you want to give. And I saw several nonprofits that you're affiliated with and like to support. Tell us about your most favorite nonprofit that you're associated with, and how you feel in helping them.
Sure. I actually am, one of my daughters is a travel softball player. So definitely, baseball, softball family. And her league, I initially was a board member and helped raise money for new bleachers at the field, as well as a new golf cart, and new equipment and new jerseys for everyone. So that was really dear to my heart, just because not everyone is as fortunate, and it's so wonderful to see what a big difference that makes in these girls' lives. With my Padres affiliation, I was even able to get a couple years in a row a Padre player to come to the field and talk to the girls and answer questions. And that was pretty amazing as well. So that's one of my favorite organizations. And then, I'm really passionate also about giving to the YMCA and Rady's Children as well, just helping, sick children with any cancer or disease, just because I couldn't imagine parents having to go through that in their families. And so I try to give as much as possible. And another thing that I do for every closing, a portion of my commission check goes to the San Diego Foundation. The San Diego Foundation is an organization that actually gives to multiple charities. So they look to see, what's at the top of the list, what is a priority. And so that has been very special to me. So every closing, I do contribute a portion of that to that foundation. And, I think everyone should do things like that. We have to give back to the community, and have to help people make this a better place. And, what's the whole reason, why are we doing all of this? And, yes, it's great to be told, thank you. And, have different success stories, but just giving back really just goes full circle just to make it all worthwhile.
Man, that's amazing. Thank you for doing all that. Obviously, Life's Essential Ingredients is part of C4 Leaders, and C4 Leaders is a nonprofit up north in Vacaville, but we will be coming down to San Pedro, which is where my Pasho is, and doing what we do. But in learning more about nonprofits, and sometimes I think the world, there's so much crazy stuff going on, and this is my second nonprofit that I started, and so it gives you a different lens of seeing so much good and so many people that are out there to give back and make a difference, and sometimes it just takes that one opportunity to ask for help, and then now all of a sudden you're out there doing your thing and helping and growing and learning and contributing and giving back. And so we thank you for that in what you do. One of the parts of the show we have is called Lighten the Fuse. And definitely your fuse is lit all the time. And it's about taking action. Sorry, let me clarify, because you're like, this guy is smoking some stuff. What the heck is he talking about? So C4, as you know, is an explosive. It's powerful and is based on communication, chemistry, consistency, and creativity. And then our nonprofit is about taking action, and we call that Lighten the Fuse. What ideas, tips, hints would you give to somebody who was just starting out in anything? Because again, you just happen to be in real estate, but your skill set would be applicable to any industry because of your work ethic and what you put into what you do on the daily. What tips would you give for somebody that's looking to just achieve success, not even in the real estate, just success, period?
Sure. I think first thing is to dress professionally. I feel that that has been lost in some different occasions. And I feel when you dress professionally, you feel good, you feel you're looking the part, you could say fake it till you make it kind of a thing. So that's number one. And I think the biggest thing is to be consistent, persistent, and have a strong work ethic. The work ethic is so important because things don't just come to you. You have to make them happen. And if you have a bad day, or you have, where you're just down and out and you're thinking this is not going to work, you have to dust yourself off and just start new and say, I am going to get better at this and this is going to work. And for any industry, I would say to find an example or a person and see what they did, or maybe see if you could mirror them. In real estate, it's typically a good idea when you first start out to, do open houses, go out in the public, talk to people, go to religious organizations. Obviously now with COVID, things are a little bit different, but you just have to get out there. You have to, if you're going to be behind, in a computer and no one's going to see you, then if that's your thing, then get into social media and, do things on the technology side. But I think for whatever industry you're in, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to, it's like, that, you just have that feeling like, oh, I could take it or leave it. And you don't want that. You have to really find what like your inner drive makes you, and then go from there. So, and sometimes, you can't make that happen. It's not in everyone for every job, for every position. And sometimes people realize that when they get into something, but I think you owe it to yourself to give it your all, and, to put 100% effort.
Yeah, Melissa, I just have a kind of a comment. Kind of being on the outskirts of the real estate business and what you do, I've met a lot of realtors, and I see what a difficult challenge it is dealing with people and being successful. There's tons of people that try to do it and they can't do it. And earlier, some of your opening comments, you were talking about looking at the bigger picture, and you also said you're trying to do better good for everyone. And I just want to say, from listening to everything you've done, from all your accolades, and it sounds like you're making this world a better place. And I just really just want to say thank you for that. It's appreciated, and keep doing it, please.
Thank you. No, that means a lot. That definitely means a lot. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, speaking of expertise, we're almost wrapping this up, but I don't know why I keep going back. I circled it a bunch. I take notes when we're doing these shows, and the yellow pages and just everything that you learn from that. And I understand that you have a small team, but part of your success is because you've been hands-on, and people know when they're going to Melissa Tucci and they're going to have you as represent them in this transaction, that they're going to have you in a backwards way. And I know you're a young woman of going to be doing this for a long time, but and also hearing some of your tips, finding a mentor. Are you in a position where you're mentoring somebody? Have you started thinking about maybe adding to your team and sharing your expertise more with people to help someone else, do what you're doing?
To answer back to your question on my building, so that actually is still in process. And I think once that is done, I would potentially consider that. I've had, over the years, people ask, to follow or shadow me. And unfortunately, that's not something that I really like to do, just because I'm always go, go, go. And I just didn't want, people be like, who's this person with you type of a thing. But again, I'm, trying to change and, adapt to new things and helping people. So I always try. I have a particular agent right now that I, helped give a client to, just to help them out. They're newer, getting out of the military, and, just want to get their feet wet a little bit, and they helped me with something, and so I was trying to give back as well, and they were very appreciative to it. And I helped answer questions on contractual situations, and some different questions on certain processes. So I'm always happy to help people in that respect, but not quite yet being a coach or a mentor. And I've actually been offered some jobs to, be paid to be someone's coach. And I think I'm just too busy to dedicate that quite yet, but maybe in the future of my career that might change.
Yeah. No, I think in today's day, with the influence of technology and where you're have so much that you're taking in, I think it's tricky for all people to have their identity, to be honest. And so I love that you know exactly who you are. And I sure hope, and again, I don't mean to sound corny, but because I hear in your voice, I'm trying to change. If you want to change, but don't let some knucklehead like me or my Pasho or anybody else kind of plant that seed, because you're amazing and you're doing what you should be doing. And yeah, if that time comes where you're like, hey, I'm in a spot where that's good for me and I'm ready to do that, then do it. But yeah, I apologize if I'm coming across and we're coming across. I love everything that you are doing and how you are so community, customer service, persistent, consistent, the work ethic that you have. And it's been amazing getting to know you and all the great work that you're doing. And we thank you again for that. I know you have to get going, and I want to be mindful of your time because your phone's probably been going crazy this whole time, and we appreciate you. So the last thing, and you talked about it a little bit, but it's legacy. And the great Maya Angelou has a quote that I'm not going to get into, but basically it talks about people will always remember how you made them feel. What is it that you want your clients to say how you made them feel in working with you?
I want them all to say that they felt important, they felt listened to, and they felt that all their questions and concerns were answered. And the biggest thing is they didn't worry because they trusted me and knew that I would make sure everything went according to plan and how it needed to be in their best interest. And by the trust that I have with my clients and that they have with me, that's what it's all about, making their experience as stress-free and as enjoyable as humanly possible, especially just people who had used past real estate agents in previous transactions, or moved from out of state, just said, I've never met or had a real estate agent like you. You made the whole process so simplistic, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, for everything that you've done. And just things like that, or saying, I'm amazing that I was able to get this accomplished, or if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be in this position. It makes it worthwhile of everything that I've doing and still do. And that's really what drives me, is when I get comments like that, when people send me a text or an email or call me and give me a raving review. And it's amazing. And it's not that I need that pat on the back, but it's just validation that this is why I do it.
I love it. And again, this is Melissa Tucci. You can find her at melissatucci.com, MELISSATUCCI.com. She will go the extra mile for you. And if you don't get that out of listening to today's show, real estate is what she does. The number one in the business, up there with Tom Brady, Sandy Koufax, the great Pele. And again, we thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being you. Thank you for staying and doing you, and just keep up the great work. And me and my Pasho hope that our paths will cross one time to be able to break bread with you. And we thank you for coming on the show. Pashito, you got any closing comments?
What can I say? It's a pleasure to be in the presence of greatness. And I know you'll never admit it, but you're doing great things. You are great, and thank you.
Yep. And listeners, thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Life's Essential Ingredients with Jeff and Mike and our wonderful guest today, Melissa Tucci. Please reach out to Jeff at C4 Leaders if you have any questions, comments, anything that we can do. You want to get on the show, you want us to get somebody on the show, reach out. And again, we appreciate you for tuning in. Thanks, and take care.